Hello, viewers. I'm SB.
And I'm Amabel, and I'm Amabel.
Okay, could you not do things that make me feel like the equipment's malfunctioning? I don't know if that was calculated to be like a thing that induced panic in me while I looked at the meters really quickly, or what? Why can't you
the first episode I didn't do it.
Why can't you just say your name like a normal? Why can't the intro ever just be the intro? All right, welcome to the fifth case here of the Lemurian Phoenix, where we're gonna solve something. But we will always be left with questions about why Amabel is like that. No one will ever know. Blaze of glory, a victor rises from the ashes. That's the burning of the temple, one assumes.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm like.
Okay. Well, it sure did burn, and there's the forklift that he keeps parked behind the curtain.
Word 00 is strange.
Not especially. Again, this is a thing I've seen. It does this sometimes. Just ride along here. Hang on, Minnie. I'm still struggling to keep up with the victory speech. And before that started, I didn't have time to finish the minutes. My fingers are gonna fall off at this rate. So this guy's wearing a government badge. Like a snake and a sword here. Please bear with me. I'm still not entirely sure what just happened, but I'll do my best to recount everything. This morning, as I prayed in the study, I entered a deep trance and lost all sense of time and space. When my consciousness returned to this earthly plane, I found myself surrounded by fire and smoke, yet I felt no pain. Instead, I heard the voice of our beloved waterfall. It said, "Fear not, child of the universe, for this is your destiny." This experience has given me a whole new perspective on life. As such, and then the other document, here we have the minutes. The Master of Ceremonies called the trial to order. Zira Legstoy and Nali Jarati searched the participants, shackled them together inside the prayer hall, and returned the keys to the Master of Ceremonies. Kwanzaa Raffelli and Tessa Navari ensured all exits were locked, as well as blocked by at least one follower from each camp. The King's soldiers also assumed their positions. Anya Tranta and Fes Ralaki handed out Molotov cocktails to all followers from both camps and saw that they were thrown through every window in unison. The fire was allowed to rage for several hours until it finally died down by itself. Victor declared as, "Oh gee, what a place to stop. What a wild coincidence that's where he stopped typing." So, we are going to be leaning into some information here that you did not have, it seems like, because the name Tessa Navari came up, and that is a name that I'm familiar with from a previous bit of thing, but that you are not, I believe. So,
okay, I'm not. No.
Psst. Scribe, take down this message discreetly and have it delivered to King Lutri at once. Your Highness, I regret to inform you that today's trial has not gone to plan. Our insider could not be found this morning, but we saw no way to halt proceedings without arousing suspicion. Now the trial has ended. The spectators have accepted their new sole First Sentinel. And he has the same government badge. Okay, approved, strictly confidential, trial by ordeal. The Royal Council has reviewed First Sentinel Ori Nagasai's challenge to his brother Koi. Several council members initially raised concerns about the possibility of Ori becoming the sole First Sentinel should Koi perish. Without Koi's limiting influence, they argued, Ori's unpredictable nature could render him difficult to control. As First Sentinels are among the few afforded the privilege of holding private counsel with His Majesty, maintaining stability in this role is paramount. The favored party was contacted discreetly to confirm that he had a plan to ensure his survival. His plan satisfies our conditions, and his accomplice has passed our clearance checks. We have provided the spare for handover. Therefore, His Majesty King Lutri Manzek has authorized the trial by ordeal. So yeah, the government prefers Koi. They're letting Koi know what's up ahead of time so that Koi can engineer some trickery that causes him to survive here. Strictly confidential copy of Brothers' correspondence provided by Koi. So Koi says, "You always were a few rungs short of a full ladder. Why on earth would I accept such a challenge? Get stuffed." And Ori responds, "So, you admit you could not possibly win? Then you should renounce your title, or have you no shame whatsoever?" And Koi says, "You know what? I've changed my mind. I now realize there is no chance of me losing, so why shouldn't I take this opportunity to double my following? Before long, I'll be living better than ever, off your Dedicants' donations. Well, what a pity you won't be around to see it." And Ori responds, "Well, that settles it. My Dedicants and I will show up at your temple on the date given to me by the waterfall. You will receive no advance notice. I don't want you preparing any of your tricks. Even the palace will not know when the trial is to take place until I inform them on the day itself." And Koi responds, "So dramatic. Fine, I'll be here, ready and waiting." It does seem like he probably was not ready, because I have to imagine if he was ready, he would have moved the forklift out. Right?
Yeah.
So a bunch of fire extinguishers, all of them unused, it would seem. "How can this be? We cannot deny the Blessed Waterfall's choice. It is truly a miracle." Same government badge. 2 small keys of a type we've not seen before. First Sentinel Ori Nagasai has challenged his brother First Sentinel Koi Nagasai to a trial by ordeal. Koi has accepted the challenge. Both men will be locked inside Koi's temple, shackled to one another at the hands and feet. The building will be set ablaze by their Dedicants, who will guard all possible exits alongside soldiers from King Lutri Manzek's royal army. The Blessed Waterfall will surely protect he who is worthy of his position, leaving he who is undeserving to perish. Prior to today's trial, Ori and Koi Nagasai chose their respective overseers as follows. So, Koi has Jamati Pira, Tessa Navari, and Fesser Laki. Ori has Zira Legstoy, Kwanzaa Rafeli, and Ania Tranta. So, restraint overseers to secure shackles. This is supposed to say restraint. Like, the verb here is restrain. Exitway. Oh, no. There are restraint overseers. There are exitway overseers, and there are ignition overseers. Okay. So they were bound together. Okay. Some of the names on that I'm a little surprised by. Right, like Ania Tranta was one of Koi's one of the women Koi had tricked, right?
Yeah, well, maybe she was like, this isn't great.
Yeah,
You don't know how far.
maybe she figured it out somewhere in the interim. So over here we have Peggy Hill, who has saved the idol. "This experience has given me a whole new perspective on life. As such, my first act will be to put an end to to donations and punishment. After that, I would like to live out the rest of my days in solitude, though I will always be with you in spirit." And he has, so these are presumably the restraint keys, yes?
Okay.
Here we have the waterfall proclamations, which seem to be the same as ever.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that we can only see the first tablet. And then finally, so burn marks on the hand from trying to mess with the wheel. A belt. That's interesting. And in here, there's a little bathroom underneath. Okay, spiritual and elegant. First Sentinel Koi Nagasai says, "Asceticism needn't be austere." So you have the famous symbol of Koi here, a palladium necklace. Palladium jewelry is more expensive than platinum because it is harder to make. A hand-woven mantle decorated with a traditional Lemurian pattern, the white and green polka dots, right? A black pearl bracelet that once belonged to the Lankan Raja family. A silk garment custom-made in Louis Bernard fashion house. A 7-headed serpent tattoo circling the palm and the back of his right hand. Donate to Koi's charitable foundation and get one as a sign of your generosity. And 7, a model 40H23 platinum watch from Brot Semon's latest collection. So
Okay. Well, that's. Is that the. Which hand is that?
it was
Is that
it was it was the right hand that was tattooed around. So we can't see the back of his right hand.
No, but it said the palm and the back were tattooed.
It did say the palm and the back were tattooed, didn't it? Circling palm and back of right hand, yeah. Okay, so unfortunately this person, the right hand is down at the side and hard to see. And here the right hand is somewhat obscured by burn marks on the surface that we can see, but it doesn't look tattooed to me.
Yeah.
But also I am noticing that that's only 26 of the 41 spots. This may be a thing where some more stuff opens up after we complete this first events tablet.
Okay.
So we know that Ori challenged Koi to a trial by ordeal. Koi accepted, thinking he could win if he cheated somehow. Okay, thinking he could win if he verbed a noun from someone, verbed his thing with it, and then verbed a noun.
Well, we stole a key.
We would assume,
from...
yeah, we would assume this first one is stole a key from. Was it Muncie who had the? No, it wasn't. Or Many, rather. It was Many's guard, who we don't know the name of.
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
Who? Can you go to the thing that lists the restraint captains or whatever they were called?
From Pyrrha, maybe? Can I be totally honest with you? I just fully excised this. I didn't realize this was a grid of their names until just this second. Yeah, okay, so he intended to get a key in whatever way. It looks like stole is the only one that works here because it's the only one that's in the correct tense. Stole a key, presumably from Jamati. Opened his shackles with it, unlocked his shackles with it, and then entered a bunker. Right, because his plan wouldn't have been to go outside. There's people watching all the windows.
Right. Okay.
But before proceedings began, the belt here is interesting. Do we know what to make of this belt?
No.
So he's not obviously wearing anything that looks like that in this page from this magazine.
No.
So what was it exactly that happened here? Before proceedings began, somebody verbed the noun and then verbed it with a noun. And as a result, only one of them survived.
Oh. I mean, someone. Someone used the belt to tie down the door. I don't know how to express that with the words we have. But then it would have got burned, and that's why.
Oh, okay. You're saying you think the belt was holding. I see, and the belt is burned through at the bottom. There you go. That's what the belt is doing.
One of our words. Okay. So it's one of our exit people.
So this is somebody entered the bunker and then
locked it with
the belt is definitely not the right word. Yeah, we don't have the words here to express the thing you're saying, and I'm wondering if they are just using sloppy wording to try to make it more difficult to deduce the thing from the grammar. Since apparently
I don't
apparently
mind
that's
that necessarily.
I do.
Okay. So, yeah. So the person who entered the bunker is going to be
Somebody
one
who
of
would have
the.
known about his plan.
I'm assuming it's going to be one of the exit captains, not overseers.
Why?
Because they're giving us the information that they're exit captains. So
Right, but they're securing the obvious exits. The fact that they're in charge of the windows does not make them any more or less likely to be aware of the trapdoor than anyone else. Right?
Okay.
The trapdoor would be somebody in Koi's employ.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean that's what I have. I don't know.
It could be Jamati Pira, because Jamati Pira is like. Is Jamati Pira? Hold on.
Well, it's going to be someone who knows about the trapdoor.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. So it's a person who works here.
Who works here and knows about the faked forklift thing.
Yeah,
that's the room it's in there with. So I think was it Jamati Para was the one.
That's the thing. I'm gonna go look at that scenario. This one, right?
Was it this one?
No, this is the wrong one. It's the one where he's in the image floating. Obviously, this is. What am I doing? Because like the guy who is taking care of his car. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah, Jamati Pira is the one who kind of knows about his shenanigans and.
Okay.
Because the only other person who's been associated with him for a long time here is the person that he killed, right?
Right, yeah. I didn't know they let you do that. That's neat.
You didn't know they let you look at the previous cases?
Yeah.
You thought once you had finished it was locked forever, and if you tried, they'd come to your house and slap your hands.
You know what? I'm not. Can you be nice to me?
It's hard to say. There's not really a lot of evidence one way or the other. I don't love the wording of this. I do I would go so far as to argue that the wording of this is wrong. The thing he's doing with the belt is not locking it, but.
And then only Ori survived?
And as a result, only Ori survived. I mean, that looks like what happened, but it's just so clean and the way you would expect it to go that it makes me suspicious.
Okay.
Okay, it's gonna like have an argument about, the use of a verb here or something silly, I bet. Either that or this is supposed to be.
Well, yeah, because
if I can be honest. No, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You go ahead first.
No, you go ahead.
Why would Jamadi betray him? He's been really happy to do his hench work the whole time.
Well, see, this is what I'm thinking. This is probably received. It's not. It's interesting that didn't change things. So, yeah, the question is like, do we think Jamati has been happy to do his head? He seemed kind of overworked in the one case we have seen him in, and then we have no more information about their relationship beyond then. So like, and whatever you're guessing here, right?
Peggy, which one is Peggy Hill?
That's a great question.
She has the statue.
She has the statue. So we're taking it that she was. I mean, but like all of them were inside the thing at one point or another. But
Right.
are we taking that as the evidence that? Let's see here. You were Lizzie Young.
And Tessa Navari.
Oh right. I just connected that. That just now makes. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm a little.
And she
was
slow
one of the here.
She was one of the guardians, the overseers,
yeah.
captains.
She was on Koi's side. Yeah.
Was an exit captain. So I think maybe.
You think it's that?
And then did he steal the key?
I mean, I wouldn't think so, right?
Okay.
You're to your point. If Jamadi Pierre is not the one, the reason that I thought he would have stolen the key is because I thought these were the same person. If they're not the same person, if Jamadi Pierre is on his side, then he doesn't need to steal the key, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe it wasn't locked. But what do you do it with the... Wait, did she exit it with the key?
He has the key.
Yeah.
This is not... This is what I'm saying. I think this is probably Koi. Because it just doesn't... This is... It being Ori that
brothers.
It being Ori that survived just isn't the way this game tells stories.
Okay, then let's...
That didn't change anything.
No.
That's interesting, because... So we had two things incorrect. We had exactly two things incorrect, right? We know that because we...
Mm-hmm.
So now we only have one thing incorrect.
You think it is stole the key again?
No. We know it's not stole the key. When we changed it from stole to received, it
right.
went from incorrect to two or fewer incorrect.
Okay, so it was two or fewer incorrect when it was Jamadi and stole. And we changed stole to received, Jamadi to Tessa. And
No, you're doing way too much work. It was incorrect when it said stole, and it's two or fewer incorrect when it says received, with everything else being the way that it just was.
Okay.
So what is the other clue that we're missing here that something is not quite what it seems? An idol. Certainly an idol. I just realized we're further in the past than the previous cases, and this is... Like, given divorce from context, I recognize this name as something, and I just put together that this person is a person from a different... We meet this person later when they're older, is the thing, in another case.
Okay, no, two or fewer. Right.
Unless I'm mistaking two names, that I don't know. Maybe I am.
It makes sense that she's an exit captain, though.
So... We have a copy of the correspondence, right? Provided by Koi.
Yeah.
And we are naturally likely to believe this because of the fact that it matches up with the last scenario. We saw Ori deliver... We saw Ori, like, receive this prophecy that he must go and challenge his brother in this way. So Ori challenged...
Did Navari exit the bunker and then lock it with a belt? I don't... So how does she get out from under there?
How does she get out from under there? Yeah, actually, this is a really good question. How did this work? What are the mechanics of this? How did somebody close the bunker from inside with a belt? I mean, they must have stayed down there and then left after the burning was complete, right? Which is, I guess, what we see her doing now, is the leaving after the burning is complete.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering if I don't see how, but I'm wondering if she locked it as she was coming out of it, like set the belt up and then
No,
the thing behind her.
No, there's no way to do that.
Also, it feels like there's a key missing. 'Cause one guy has
3
two.
is a weird number of keys to have, for sure.
Yeah, especially for the number of restraints. There should be a key for each.
Yeah, there is a key missing for sure.
Wait, those are blue shackles.
I mean, they're shackles, certainly.
But in the diagram, are they not different colors?
Yeah, but I don't know that that's necessarily. You think some of the overseers used blue fire to start the? I think that's just a visual separation on the thing here, right?
Yeah. And I'm kind of stuck, and I wish there were more spots. Just feel like we just have one incorrect, though.
The first sentinel shall live forever. Like they're letting us see this stone of the waterfall proclamations again for a reason.
To remind us that they're twins.
What remind us? That's the primary fact of the whole. Do you feel like you need to be reminded that they're humans and that we're on Earth, or that's like the primary thing? Like the only question this being here actually raises to me is if they're maybe not, because the first sentinel Nagasai will live forever. You know, their father thought it referred to him, but maybe it didn't.
Okay. That's kind of accepting the magic bullshit is real. So which I guess probably works for this game.
It is explicitly the case that there is magic in the Lemurian technology. That is just an actual real fact of this world. You see people use it in the other things all the time. Not all the time, but generally in each case. So that's. Yeah, like I'm not necessarily convinced that the waterfall is false. All right. Struggling to keep up with the victory speech. Didn't have time to finish the minutes. All right, let's go over this a little more carefully here.
Okay.
Search the participants, shackle them together, return the keys to the master of ceremonies. So I guess he would have been planning to receive his key from Yeah, his key would have to have come from one of these people.
Okay.
Right.
So which one's on his Can you
Nali Jarati is his they're in order. It's Ori's and
Okay.
then Koi's.
Okay. Wait, so why do we think it was
The
Jamadi?
Molotov, just because that's a guy who works for him that
Okay.
has helped him cheat things in the past.
Okay.
But yeah, like logistically, it probably is one of these two.
Okay.
Like Tessa Navari giving him the key is the reason that she thinks she needs to lock the thing, right?
Yeah.
Maybe because like realistically,
So I mean,
returned the keys to the Master of Ceremonies. So Tessa having an extra key, the key that Nolly had, again, not like if we accept that Tessa could have somehow gotten an extra key made, then it's also Nolly could have, right? It's hard to say.
Okay.
It's hard to say. Like it could be either
You
of
think
them.
you think it was just Tessa all along?
I think that probably you want a minimum of people in on your,
Well, why don't we
and
try
it's the
Tessa
person.
in there
It's the
then?
person. Well, that's more. It's more incorrect. Giovanni Pira is right. I guess. So we're at exactly 2 wrong now.
Well, 2 or fewer incorrect. Are we sure that's 2?
No, Amabel.
Okay.
How many did we just change?
We changed 1. Oh, and
One,
it made it
so-
3 incorrect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we changed 1 and it went from just incorrect to 2 or fewer incorrect. So we're sure it's 2 now.
We think the names are right.
Yeah, like theoretically, part of the problem is that we really don't know the timing on things. Like theoretically, extra keys could have been made, and so it's interesting. Restraint Captain Jamati Pira listed here, but according to the minutes that we have, that's not who went in. Nali Jarati. So Koi accepted, and his plan would have been to get a key from Jamati because Jamati was the one that was planned.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the day, Jamati Pira is not here. He's not mentioned at all in the minutes.
Oh, okay.
So Koi is not able to receive his extra key. What does that mean? It means Ori is the one who survives. Well,
Right.
Hold on. He's not able to get his extra key in the way that he planned, but somebody got an extra key anyway. So like the way I'm thinking of it is like there's going to be a little twist here because that's how this goes. The twist is either that Koi survived because the magic is real, or Ori survived by cheating because his magic isn't real. That's how I think the game would tell the story. That's how I think this writer would tell this story. So I'm not necessarily opposed to the idea that it could be either of them who survived, but we got to figure out the rest of the facts here. So Zira, Nali, Kwanzaa, Tessa. Kwanzaa, Tessa, Anya, and Fesralaki. Okay, so yeah, this is the only person whose name is not on the trial, on this pre-trial checklist worksheet thing. So what do we make of that?
Yeah, I don't.
Nali Jarati. Hold on, let me go and look at. I don't remember which one is Nali Jarati. I don't remember who that is. Okay. So he was sort of insulting to Nali Jarati.
Yeah.
As far as we know, she's not present, though. We don't see her at the site, right?
Yeah. I'm kind of stumped.
Yeah, Tessa Navari is here.
Wait, what did Tessa Navari say? They nearly left you in there. You're coming with me.
I guess like the water and the dirt and stuff on this does suggest that it was not opened after the fact. My thinking for how the belt worked was that whoever sealed themselves down here with the belt waited for the whole event to go through and then just snuck out afterward. But the fact that there's a bunch of water and dirt on here is not indicative of this door having been opened after the building burned down.
Right.
So then we got to figure out how it is, unless the person who did it is still down here and we're just not being shown that. Yeah, I have to say I'm a little unsure here. These guys have a lot of stuff on them.
Wait, if
This morning,
But if
as I prayed in the
she-
study, I entered a deep trance. When my consciousness returned, heard the voice of our beloved waterfall. As I prayed in the study, I entered a deep trance. Suggests that, like, he's claiming he wasn't present for the start of the... Like, you know, he wasn't really, like, in his body for the start of the challenge at all.
yeah,
He was what do you call it? Astrally AFK, effectively.
can you go back to the minutes? See, I think somehow Tessa Navari locks the thing. I think it is her that locks it, but then is out of the building. They wouldn't set it on fire if they thought she was in the building.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
So does she exit the bunker? It's that it just the word is exited. It doesn't. She exited the bunker and then locked it with a belt. Like,
But
there's
that
a door
can't
down
be
there.
the
maybe?
case, right?
What if there's an?
What if there's another door down there that they're not showing us? That better not be the fucking... That better not be the answer, is the answer to that question.
Well, I don't know. I'm stumped. That's my suggestion.
All right, let me see something here. So, okay. That's pretty weird, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't that mean that the Koi Nagasai and Ori Nagasai are both wrong in this slot?
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay. Is there anyone that looks
That's maybe
like
not.
them?
It's maybe not the thing that we were doing at the moment, but
Yeah, we go back to that letter. that
Hold on. Hold
the
on.
letter
Hold on.
Manning
Hold
has?
on. This experience has given me a whole new perspective on life.
Well, the one brother was all for punishments, and the other was all for donations.
Yeah. Hold on just a second here. Okay. I'm just thinking, like, what if Koi and Ori aren't the eldest sons of probably Nagasai,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Because that seems to be what is being suggested here by the wrongness. I don't know. It's not really us. It's not really focused on like what exactly is wrong, and certainly it's not us learning from the facts that are actually in front of us. It's just interesting. Both men will be locked inside the temple, shackled to one another at the hands and feet. The building will be set ablaze by their dedicants who will guard all possible exits. And you would think it would be quite difficult for anyone it'd be quite difficult for Tessa and for people from these two stages of the thing to be inside when stuff happens, because they wouldn't start the fires until all four of these people came out. Right?
Yeah.
We see only a single pair of hands.
And we don't really see a tattoo there.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's like there's two large burn marks. There is an extra line here, but it's not. I think this is not. We just don't. This isn't the tattooed hand.
Yeah. And then the other guy,
Well, this
we
is.
can't really see.
Wait, Amabel.
What?
These are both left hands.
Okay, yeah, they're both dead. Okay, that's someone else. Is it Jera?
The thing is, in my head, I had looked at. I had gone. Okay, wait, which one's the right hand? And for some reason, somehow I had.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the thing. Kwanzaa Rafeli
Yeah.
was in the village and was older than the boys.
Yeah.
Had been in the village longer than the boys. There were two people who had been in the village longer than the boys who were sitting closer to the father.
Right.
It was Gresto and Kwanzaa. And Gresto we know is dead.
Right. If you go to the thing, Kwanzaa came there just before like in 1914, just before the Second Proclamation. I remember that.
Yeah.
So it might. Yeah, maybe.
But it shouldn't be possible for Kwanzaa to be in the temple at the time of the burning unless something very fucking weird happened, because and the minutes being, or the victory speech being given here doesn't really make any sense for anyone. Who would be in the study, entered a deep trance, found themselves surrounded by fire and smoke? Right, like this doesn't make this does not describe even possibly anyone. Right?
Yeah, but if Kwanzaa made sure the exits were locked.
I mean, it does not literally say that Kwanzaa and Tessa both came out.
Yeah.
But they would have had to have, right?
Kim, I think you're onto something. I think it might be Kwanzaa. Excuse me.
Okay, I think kind of all of this is... So the government provided the spare for the handover early on. I guess so. Yeah. Here's a question. Let's talk about these keys.
Okay.
How do we have 3 keys, one of them ending up in the hands of this person, and 2 of them ending up over here? The government provided the spare for handover, and it wasn't given. Right? These are the 2 that were supposed to be used to shackle and then given to the Master of Ceremonies. The other key would have been with the person who was supposed to give it to Koi, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only thing that makes sense. So this is whoever the government gave the key to give it to Koi.
That's why I assumed it was Jera, but it might be...
Jera?
No, not Jera. Jamadi Pera.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, like that makes sense, right? Jamadi Pera makes sense. When do we first encounter Jamadi Pera? It's in that
when he's climbing up the murder. That
yeah.
Scenario. And because he was unharmed by the fire or whatever, because the other thing
I guess it makes sense. Like, he's the only other person who we know would have been on the grounds. This doesn't totally, but it makes more sense for Jamadi Pera than it does for other people, because Jamadi Pera didn't have a role in the ceremony.
Right, and the thing on the tablet, on the monolith.
Yeah.
The first Sentinel had no son. There'll be no new first Sentinel until another chosen by the universe to fill the ancient prophecy. Well, they're saying the thing about how they're chosen by the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think.
Okay, so we're saying this is Jamadi Pera because Jamadi Pera is the one who would have the key.
And it's not. Okay.
No, we don't know that.
We don't? Okay. Well, it didn't make it more incorrect.
Right.
But he could have made it less incorrect, and we don't know.
Yeah.
Can we try Tessa Navari exited the bunker?
Well, no. So this would then have been Jamadi. If Jamadi's plan was to not hand over the thing,
Right.
then
Okay.
Jamadi is the one who fucks up the bunker.
Okay, but how to get out of the bunker?
He didn't. Well, so unfortunately, the answer to that question is he stayed in there during the burning, because otherwise he would have been killed.
Right.
And then he got out after the building burned down in
And then put
contravention
dirt on
of
it.
the dirt and water, I guess.
He added the dirt in the water.
I guess he must have. Yeah. It's really the only explanation. Okay, so more information. Koi really has a sick mind, choosing Dis of all places. Though I suppose no one will ever disturb the sacred ground here. So this is what I was kind of figuring, was that it might turn out, if it was the case that Ori survived without there being magic. Well, actually, either way, Koi surviving. I figured it might turn out that the prophecy was sort of planted, and
Okay.
this, I think, is what we're about to get.
And this is the cleanup of the murder. Okay.
So you'll need this when you get there. Dispose of it once you're done. Here's diary number 5. Last night I was once again haunted by my dark secret in my sleep. Will this recurring nightmare never cease? As so often before, my father's specter entered my room and darkness fell. He lifted a finger to his lips and whispered, "You will pay for what you did to me. A life for a life." And yeah, the note, JP has permission to leave the compound walls. So this is where he went. First Sentinels only. $15.94, huh? Suddenly, fire rages through the temple. Will Pravi survive? But then a mighty wind howls from the east. The blessed waterfall is redirected. A miracle! Pravi is saved. The prophecy is fulfilled. Our first sentinel is reborn. Okay. Could this really have been the result of a miracle wind, like they say? Something about this footage seems off. Ticket stubs, some money. To honor the death of First Sentinel Pravi Nagasai, the classic Miracle at the Waterfall will be showing all week at the Lagoon Theater. Witness the first miracle ever to be captured on film. Real footage of the divine moment that gave rise to the first true First Sentinel. An ancient prophecy fulfilled. After the inferno, only one shall rise, bearing the mark of the universe. Maybe it was. What else could explain the water's trajectory? If only we had a better viewing angle. A pack of playing cards? Hello, darling. Thank you for those wonderful photographs. What a handsome young man my grandson has become. How lucky he is to have inherited such a strong set of features from you and Shastai. Give my love to the family, Daddy. And here, how dare they doubt the blessed waterfall? And in public? As soon as this ends, I'm reporting them to King Lutri's purity guards.
Right.
Okay. So this here is, the name Shastai comes from the flyer here. Paramagicians who spread malicious lies about the blessed waterfall have been executed.
But who's that amazing flying boy?
You know, he's just an amazing flying boy. Sometimes boys are amazing and they fly. Amabel.
But he inherited strong features from... Can you click on the dad face again?
What a handsome young man my grandson has become. How lucky he is to have inherited such a strong set of features from you and Shastai. Yeah, I mean, that's
Okay.
And so that is... I do wish these would load in a little faster. I mean, this should be pretty close to instant. I mean, right? That's
Yeah.
the nose.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so timeline. Order these events chronologically. Okay, so
Well,
Gresto's burial, the trial by fire is at the end, right?
Lutri's murder's at the end, isn't it?
Is the tree's murder at the end? Hold on.
It, it,
The trial by fire
isn't
is very. The trial by fire is very late, right? Because all this stuff happens before.
Yeah.
Like Pravi's murder
is the first.
predates Koi's miracle. Breach predates Ori's revelation. Gresto's burial is
Between the miracle
between
and
the
the revelation.
miracle and the revelation.
And the cinema screenings between the murder and the miracle. Because because the screening is in memoriam or whatnot of his death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we think Lutri's murder is at the end.
Because there's just one first sentinel.
Because at the time there's just one first sentinel. See, I was when given the order they gave those to us in, I thought it was before Pravi's murder.
But Pravi's murder is definitely tied to like 1940, and Lutri's murder is in the 70s.
Yes, you're correct. That's true.
And Manny is yeah.
Yeah. All right, the plan. Blank knew when to hide in the bunker because Blank told Blank the trial date. Motivated by Blank, his final goal, which he achieved, was to kill Lutri Manzek. Motivated by revenge. So, Jamonti Pira knew when to hide in the bunker because... Who told who the trial date? It's like Koi was gonna there was gonna be no warning, right? Even the palace will not know when the trial is to take place until I inform them on the day itself. So Ori told someone the trial date. Ori told someone who works at the palace the trial date. And then that person would have told, because there's some arrangement going on, right? But Jamonti would need to know before the other people in Koi's camp, right? So that he could seal himself up
and give him the key, which he didn't do.
Well, and not give him the key.
Yeah.
The whole point is that he needs to be absent.
Right.
Okay, so this is a bit of the plan that I'm a little unclear on still. How does Jamonti get the information before the rest of Koi's camp? Inform the palace on the day itself. Okay, hold on a second. Hang on a second, he says. And he's looking at, like, glowing... He's looking at the mushrooms.
Is he told the waterfall the trial date? And the waterfall told this guy? And he's trying to work with the nouns we have.
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. Like, he's noticing something. There's a reason that we're seeing the reflection in his glasses, right? He's noticing something that's giving him the information. So he doesn't get it when Ori tells the palace. He gets it beforehand because Ori divines it from something about the waterfall.
Okay.
So there's a way in which it is the case that the waterfall told Jabati the trial date. However, this is going to be one of those things where, like, there's probably like 15 different sets of words we can put here that are technically true, and it's looking for one very specific interaction.
Well, I'm assuming it's kind of are you there, waterfall? It's me, Ori situation. So the Ori told the waterfall the trial date is what I would.
1594. Because this pattern of a pair of little mushrooms growing out of the same bottom stalk. Like, he could be looking at these, he could be looking at those. It's not clear what he's looking at, but, like, how does he make the call? Hang on a second. This, like, we still don't really know what this is. You'll need this when you get there. Suggest that it's the code to the door.
Yeah.
But it's not clear to me how that's 1594. Unless it's a reference to something else that causes him to work out a date or something. Like, what do you think? The symbol on the door is related to the symbols for family, right?
Yeah.
If we go back and look at the symbols in Revelation, well, I guess it's an inversion of this thing.
Right. And and particularly, it's the symbol for the dad symbol and the symbol for the two kids.
Yeah.
The dad's the no sign, and that one's a square, one's a triangle.
Yeah.
Can you go to the bit with him at the waterfall here? What is it he says again?
By your command, it shall be done on the date you have given me. So, like,
Do you think Jamadi's hiding behind the waterfall and is talking and just tells them the date?
I guess if Gresso's burial happens right before Ori's revelation, then yeah, maybe.
And he has the code to get in the door.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly. And it turns out that essentially all of the magic in this particular set of cases is nonsense.
Well, that's usually the case with religion.
Yeah, but, like, not in these games in particular, right? Like, the Golden Idol actually does, like, it actually does, I don't know, you could call it magic, you could call it technology or whatever, but, like, it actually does things that are nonsensical in any case. Like, you can actually use the Golden Idol to steal the youth from someone and give it to someone else. So,
okay.
And that's Lemurian technology. It's a Lemurian object, so.
All right, so he wanted to kill Lutri Ori and Koi,
Yeah.
because together they had ordered that his parents,
Yep. I like all of it. His
what,
parents,
uh,
Shastai,
and Dan
and
and Denise up at the top,
Nizzy
be
be
executed.
executed. This is kind
You'll
of
bet.
a weird break here in the text. Jabati Piro was able to access the waterfall because Koi gave him the access code so that Gresto Nozi's body could be buried there. That says burned. It's a trick. They're right next to each other. Later, Jamari Piro returned and spoke to Ori from behind the waterfall. Before the trial began, Jamati Piro locked himself inside the bunker, leaving the two to die. All this led to Jamati Piro being appointed first sentinel, giving him access to Lutri. It turns out, I can't believe I looked right at both of those hands and was like, which one of these is the right hand? And
Well,
I did the thing with my hand in front of the monitor. I was like, okay, that's
saw
the
that.
right
Yeah.
that's the right hand. And somehow so I didn't notice.
But you know what? You did notice.
I
It took you a
did
little
notice
while.
eventually.
I didn't.
All right. After his parents' execution, Jamati Pira sought revenge against King Lutri Manzek and his two first sentinels, Ori and Koi. So, like I said, it tends to be like there's a twist. It tends to be something poetical happens to somebody.
Okay.
Somebody who looks like they got away with something doesn't get away with it, and this is the kind. And if I just like listened to my own sort of like divined rules of the way these things tell stories, I probably could have figured this out without engaging with the stuff that was on the screen very much, except for the fact that I didn't put together from the flyer that Jamati Pira was the child of those two people.
Yeah.
All right. He joined Koi's following with the aim of obtaining intelligence and access. Before long, he had gained Koi's trust by using his knowledge of magic to devise ways for Koi to perform miracles. His knowledge of magic. From there,
Right,
he
because-
bided his
because
time
stage
and
musician.
yeah, he bided his time and used his proximity to Koi to uncover more useful information. See, like, it would be a little bit more helpful, though, if, like, there were more in that third case indicating that he got the idea for the levitation from Jamati.
Yeah.
You know, there's all these pieces that were left out that make it hard for us to grasp. Like, hard for us to see the things that are being hidden from us. After Koichi gave Jamati access to the waterfall, Jamati spotted the cave behind it, and that was all he was seeing, was just that there was a cave with mushrooms in it back there. And seeing an opportunity, he formulated his plan. To the airfield, Anya. Goodbye, Lemuria. I'll never forget you. It's really more of a yellow and green polka dot, I guess. Meanwhile, in Albion, look what I found over there, Oriel. The Golden Idol. Oh, yep, and that's Oriel Toussaint, younger. Uh-huh, now turn it over. What? Why? Made in Lanka. Oh. Because in Lanka, they don't have the real magic. Lemurian magic is real. Lankan magic is fake. Is that just okay? That's just this.
That's this game then.
Yeah, that would appear to be this expansion to this game. Thank you for playing, and the flag of Lemuria has been transmuted into a skull and crossbones for some reason.
I liked it. I don't have the experience with it you do. I know you probably were. You seemed like you were a bit more disappointed with it compared to other.
I have found this one to be a little bit disappointing.
I didn't come in with those expectations. So like, while that one case, the one in the middle, was kind of whatever. I did enjoy these last couple cases quite a bit, and
I think part of it is that it was just sort of, it felt very small in the sense that like there was not a lot to figure out in several of the cases. Like this feels like less mystery than the last pack was. I will admit that I'm somewhat embarrassed that I didn't during Ascension that I didn't make the connection between Tessa Navari and Tessa Navari, because that woman is a character we've seen in the other things. I believe. I'm trying to think where I don't remember the other cases all that clearly, so I don't know where like the fastest way to show you older Tessa Navari would be.
Sorry.
Let me see here. I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't put together that this is that woman but younger, because of course we are about 30 years, 30, 40 years earlier. That's embarrassing. All these made up names. How do I not just hold them in my head forever? Yeah, that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this was bad. I just think it was less good than the games have been up to this point.
It's the best one I played so.
But not, it's not criminally so. I don't want to like overstate it. So yeah, thank you so much, Amabel, for coming with me on this and helping. You did a tremendous amount of the work, and I mostly just rode your coattails, but eventually I did remember which side of the hand the thumb is on, and that turned out to be important. When y'all come back next time, of course, that is going to be it for us for today and for this expansion. When y'all come back next time, more new stuff. There's so much stuff coming out all the time, and I have some things that I've been very excited to get to. Hopefully, y'all will be excited to see them. So come back tomorrow for something new, and we'll see you then.